Attention, attention, attention. Calling all ambitious automobiles sales and marketing professionals. You'll be in hot water if you miss this month's automotive newsletter. Period. You ask, why? Simply because you will not be able to advise your customers and prospects on the latest happenings in the Malaysian car market. True. Jokes aside. Just before you drive into the far end of this month's bulletin, let's do a pit stop here, alright? Thank you. Believe it or not, what you going to read about the bottom-most motor vehicle turnover probably the current year will knock your socks off your feet. To give you a foretaste of this exciting news, it is wise to mention a few salient points. Okay. The poor sales is due to buyers have brought forward their purchases because of the Sales and Service Tax (SST) exemption. Another reason for the slow sales is the economic slowdown which is expected worldwide, where people will be more cautious about buying cars this year. Note also the uncertainty of the government's aid of extending the SST exemption that has not helped much. Also, this depressed state of affair is due to supply chain issues and component shortages which worsen the sales situations. Additionally, in EV sales of motor cars, the respective parties has not done much to increase overall EV cars sales in Malaysia. Yes. Having said that, let's explore fully this newsletter. Okay. Here goes. Breaking news. Lower vehicle sales likely this year. Petaling Jaya. The Malaysian Automotive Association (MAA) expects vehicle sales to drop 9.8% to 650,000 units this year following the record high total industry volume (TIV) of 720,658 units last year. MAA President Datuk Aisha Ahmad said the primary reason for the drop in TIV is the end of the sales tax exemption on March 31, 2023. We are saying that people have brought forward their purchases because of the Sales and Service Tax (SST) exemption. This is coupled with an economic slowdown which is expected worldwide, so people will be more cautious about buying cars this year, she said at a media briefing yesterday. As car buyers have until the end of March this year to capitalize on the tax exemption, Aisha expects TIV to remain stellar during the first quarter of 2023. The first quarter of 2023 will still be fine, but after that, we will see a year-on-year YOY drop from 2022. Most of the rush for passenger vehicles outstanding orders, especially in the first quarter, is due to the SST exemption. There are some companies that are not able to fulfill these orders by March due to supply chain issues and component shortages, she said. The total registration of new passenger vehicles in 2022 rose 41.8% YOY to 641,773 units, while the commercial vehicle segment registered a strong YOY growth of 39.9% to 78,885 units. The improvement in sales of commercial vehicles was due to increasing demand as companies began to invest in anticipation of an economic rebound after 2 years of slowdown as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, said Aisha. The monthly TIV reached its peak and all-time high in December 2022, when a total of 76,657 VSEs were registered. Aisha said the stellar performance in 2022 can also be attributed to pent-up demand for new vehicles that was seen, especially during the first half of last year. She also said there was a low base effect from 2021, especially during the first half of the year, as a result of multiple lockdowns that disrupted business operations. Additionally, Aisha said she did not think the government would be able to extend the SST exemption incentive for now, given its tight finances. Some automotive manufacturers have announced they would absorb the SST, but for how long, we don't know. The lower-end cars are fine, but for the more expensive models, it would be too much to absorb. The MAA forecasts TIV growth to return to the mean level of about 1% to 2% YOY every year from 2024 to 2027. On the development of the electric vehicle (EV) sector in Malaysia, Aisha said the MAA has lobbied to the government to grant more support to this segment. We have appealed for road taxes to be restructured and registration fees to be reduced. We also hope the government will subsidize the EV infrastructure development, since it is costly. So there must be some assistance from the government to further develop EVs here, she said. Aisha said the extension of duties and tax for EV purchases should be done with a longer term view in mind. An extension that is announced yearly is not good enough. We are asking that these be continued until 2030. It has to be a longer time frame, as this is an area where a lot of investments are needed and all these investors need assurances that EV sales will continue to do well, she said. Believe me, without sounding like a broken record, it is highly important to repeat again some key points succinctly. Hence, mention must be made again on the topic of reduced motor transports sales, which is predicted for the current year. If you remember, the bad sales is owed to buyers having purchased in advance to grab the opportunity of enjoying the sales and service tax (SST) exemption. Take note again, the poor sales is due to the economic slowdown which is forthcoming worldwide, thus resulting in consumers being reluctant about buying cars this year. As a strong reminder, do recall the fickleness of the government's aid to extend the SST exemption. By this, no positive results has come out of it. Last but not the least, this week's state of affair caused by the supply chain issues and component scarcity which has worsened the sales situations. Being responsible auto sales and marketing professionals, it's good to ponder what can we do to boost the sales of cars in Malaysia. My humble advice is to convince all our prospects and customers to buy or trade in their car for newer and better cars. Would you second this proposal? I am sure you will do. All in all, this bulletin is quite a mouthful, I must say. Agree or not? As a parting gift for you for reading up to now, here is priceless quotation by A. P. J. Abdul Kalam. He was an Indian aerospace scientist and statesman who served as the 11th President of India from 2002 to 2007. He says, "We must get rid of fossil fuels by developing injection systems for automobiles, which can run on biofuel." End of quote. P.S. Although this is a lengthy sales and marketing automotive newsletter, yet we want to congratulate you for watching and reading this bulletin completely. Since you already read this news, therefore, you now deserve more forthcoming weekly free chapters of the book, How to Apply Sales After Sales Tips and Techniques for Greater Selling Success. Plus, we are eager to know which part of this sales and marketing automotive newsletter you learned most. Your feedbacks would help each other be more proficient and more professional. Remember, these sharings will continue in YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course in our author, trainer and consultant's email, josephsung@gmail.com. Upon request. Alright, thank you. We hope to meet you again next month. Goodbye and best wishes. From me, yours truly, Madam Sophia, the virtual presenter to CTM Joseph. The 8th of February 2023.